You're looking at the back of my cat's head because I'm just trying to come up with something interesting for you to look at until I show you the main prop. Okay, so I want to tell you about some instances where we have been hearing through various messages and words that the enemy is out to get us. Their spiritual warfare in the heavenlies is rampant, and I have felt some of this myself over the past couple weeks, but today was just, it was right there. So I wanted to tell you my situation and then have you guys post your stories below so I could read your stories. We can all understand what's going on and pray for each other. So 3 weeks ago today's September 6th, so it was August, and it was a Tuesday, and my husband and I were at home after work, and there was a tornado warning in our county, which we live in Tornado Alley, so we understand tornadoes quite a bit, at least as much as we can tell directions. We feel safe until it gets to the town just to the west of us. Once it comes to the west, we know we're in trouble, and then we go get in our closet. So we have a closet in the middle of the house. Well, we heard the tornado warnings go off, so we turned on the TV, or we just heard them on the TV. We don't live in town. So we were paying attention to the weather and the radar, and we could see it was coming our way. So we got into our closet, which is in the middle of the house, and we heard suddenly a torrential rain. It was just torrential rain, and we knew it was near us right then. It lasted about 4 or 5 minutes, and then it was done. And we got out and looked, and not even a shingle came off our house. So we started to investigate, because suddenly there were many, many cars traveling to the west to see what was going on. And we live out in the country, so we don't see this much traffic. So we got in the car and went down there, and what we found was that a television crew had parked just outside, just about a half a mile directly west on the road we live, and it was filming because it had seen the tornado coming this way. And we watched, what we saw was the after effects, which the tornado had gone through, and it had clipped a couple of the fences, because like I said, we live out in the country. There were fences that had fallen over, and the neighbor to just the other side of us had some tree damage, and we were okay though. Now, ironically, I was led by the Lord about 2 weeks previous to this to anoint the country square mile that we live. So I drove around to each corner, north, south, east, and west, and anointed it and prayed over it. And the tornado did not come through our area. We were untouched. We certainly heard it though. So that was incident number 1. Incident number 2 was something you might have heard about on the news. It was August 26th, I think. It was a Wednesday. It was 2 weeks from tomorrow. Tomorrow will be September 7th. Anyway, in Indiana, we have this huge outbreak of tornadoes, which in the morning, the number was 1 as far as possibility of having any severe weather. It was just unheard of. It just was not expected. Even CNN and all the bigger media people were surprised by what happened. So I was at work. I work about about 30 minutes north of where I live, and our cell phones went off in the afternoon, and we knew we were under a tornado warning in that town. So we got into our designated area, and storms, I'm very fortunate. Storms, these type of storms, they don't bother me. I know that God allows them. He's taking care of us and watching over us, and so I'm okay with that. So I went to the area. Well, some people are not so, they don't go to the designated area right away because they're standing outside looking at the tornado. And that is exactly what happened with some of my coworkers. In fact, if you go to my Dailies page, I will post, if I can't post the picture, I will post the Dailies page. You can actually see a picture of my coworker with the door open, staring at a tornado coming directly toward us because it's looking out west at our parking lot. And here comes the tornado. Okay, so I am in this designated area. I hear it go over because suddenly there's debris everywhere above us. You can hear it, and you can also see it to the east because there's a window above a door there that points out to an alley. So we knew we had just been passed again because the building stayed intact. Once we all got home for the day, now, like I said, I don't live in that town. I live out in the country. But we discovered that this was the story that you might have heard, that the Starbucks was obliterated by a tornado. This was 3 blocks north of where I live. So once again, or I'm sorry, where I work. So once again, the tornado is coming directly west, but it veers just a little to the north and hits the Starbucks, where a manager named Angel had guided all of the customers into bathrooms. And the bathrooms did not, no one was killed, no one was even hurt badly in this tornado throughout this town. But if you've seen the Starbucks, you know it's just collapsed. So God was watching over them, which is surprising to me considering all the things about Starbucks that we know. So that was the second incident. So the first one was the tornado was about a half a mile to my north where I live. The second one, where I work, it was 3 blocks north. So the enemy is getting closer and closer. That's kind of how I perceived it. Okay, so today, September 6th, was the third incident. And what happened was I went into work after a couple days of vacation. I had my computer running. I was running a report. I work in the accounting. And so the report was running. I was just kind of sitting there, and all of a sudden I saw fire come out of my computer. Okay, it just was just about pardon me, about an inch of fire just come out, and it popped, and then you could smell it. So I kind of closed everything down on my screen. I did not turn the computer off. I got up and went to get our IT person. He came back, and when we got back, we found out that the lady next to me had said it started to make a really loud sound in my cubicle. So she yelled at the boss, and he came and shut everything down. Okay, so we assumed the problem was the computer because that's where I had seen the fire. And so my IT friend, who's also a mechanical engineer, he swapped out the computer for a good one. Now this computer that I'd had was a rebuilt one. So that's one of the reasons we assumed that it was the computer. He swaps it out, puts the new computer in, turn on the new computer, seems to be doing fine, no problem. And I said, you know what, let me turn on my desk lamp. Okay, so I turn on the desk lamp, and poof, another shot of fire. This one is blue and green fire. And so we know at this point it's not the computer at all, it's actually my desk lamp. And I brought the remains of it home to show you because, you know, I had just turned it on and it blew up. As far as I'm concerned, blew up. So here is the remains, the inner workings of my desk lamp. As you can see, it's pretty much burnt to a crisp. And this happened, you know, twice. The first time, I don't know if it caught fire and then went out, and then the second time when I actually turned it on again, it really toasted up or what. But according to my IT person, I should have been electrocuted. And it was just a miracle that I was not electrocuted. And we know why, don't we? And to be honest, that is the purpose of this video. The purpose is to tell you that Jesus is watching over us. He really is. Boy, I tell you, I sure learned it today. But I think one of the things that I wanted to stress and learn was that we cannot count on our spouses. I had posted a dream in my dream forum a couple days ago about following my husband and getting lost because he has his own path to take. So we cannot count on family, we can't count on friends, ourselves especially. We don't want to count on only God. So we need to pray for his protection every day. He has said that's what he's doing. He's guarding us. Psalm 91, that's especially for us. And that's why I wanted to tell you guys about this video. This is a testimony of proof that we are being watched over just like he said he would. So you need to have that faith and pray each day for that protection. And if you would, please write your stories down below. I'm very interested in hearing what you have to say. Thanks.